Welcome back to the Hero's Journey podcast, episode number 57. I'm your host, Nick, and I'm reading comics from the Golden Age, our favorite superheroes, trying to see how they evolved all the way to the modern age. We are currently working our way through April of 1945. Each week I read 10 books, and at the end of and I'll go through these 10 books. I'll tell you all about them, show covers, show some interiors. And then at the end, I will see if you can figure out which one of these books has the highest current market value based on most recent sales. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the books. First up, All Select Comics number 7. I agree, it's not the greatest image of that cover scan, but I've got a nice Alex Schomburg cover here. Again, in case you missed that, we're in April of 1945, right? So you got some shooting on the cover. You got the Bucky coming down in a parachute. Feel like I haven't seen that one in a while. Toro and Human Torch blasting through some stuff. It's fun, causing havoc and destruction. It's great. So in the first story, we have Captain America and the Masters of Evil. So Captain America and Bucky are up against the worst criminals in history after they are brought back to life by an evil sorcerer. That's an interesting challenge as Bucky's about to get dipped into that cauldron. And then it's up to the Human Torch and Toro. And they meet the swanky swindlers, right? So Human Torch and Toro intervene when a gangster is working with a public official to buy properties through extortion and sell them to the city for profit. And last but not least, we have the Wizard, the Discs of Death. So the Wizard figures out that a scientist is trying to kill FBI officials with copper discs that absorb tremendous amounts of electricity. As they absorb the electricity, people get electrocuted. It's really dangerous. That's it for All Select Comics number 7. We are moving on to Batman 28. And that scan, you can't beat that cover image, right? You know, it's not, I don't think it's going to stand out as one of the classic Batman covers, but I do like its simplicity and the colors. They look, it's a really nice cover. So in the first story, Batman and Robin are up against the Joker, clearly. Shadow City. So Batman and Robin discover that the Joker is using an old warehouse disguised as exotic places where wealthy men can spend more money than they bargained for. So it's all an illusion created to draw out money from wealthy individuals, as the Joker does. Interesting scam. So it's unfortunate the Joker didn't make the cover of this issue. I'm sure it would have made it a lot more classic, but he's in it. He's in the first story. Then you have the adventures of Alfred, and Alfred accidentally catches a gang of thieves trying to rob a home with some newly purchased sets of handcuffs. Look at that. So, but he figures it out and catches thieves. Alfred is the hero. Batman and Robin meet Shirley Holmes, policewoman. So this is another story that we haven't seen in a while, where Batman and Robin spotlight a branch of the of the protective services. And this one highlights the policewoman squad featuring Shirley Holmes. This next one is Batman and Robin, how they go to Washington. Batman and Robin head to Washington to convince lawmakers to give ex-cons a chance at earning an honest living. However, the mob bosses want to keep their workforce and try to stop Batman and Robin. Noble cause, but it's really difficult for these guys. All right, Captain America Comics number 46. I'm going to tell you that I did try very hard to find a good scan of this cover. It was really difficult. They're a lot of them are very dark. This was the lightest one I could find, the brightest colors. All right, another Alex Schomburg cover. You got Batman, Captain America and Bucky flying in there, taking out some bad guys, Nazis. Got a guy tied up to some sort of table there. Looks like he's about to get put into the furnace. So not a good day for him. Fortunately, Captain America and Bucky show up. So in this issue, Captain America in Invitation to Murder. So Captain America and Bucky end up in an old mansion where an heir is plotting against the other heirs to acquire their share of the fortune. So telltale story. Woman in red in bondage in that title page, splash page. Human Torch, the 5 traitors from Berlin. Human Torch and Toro figure out how to stop some Nazis from escaping to America by ship. These Nazis were trying to escape to America from Nazi Germany, and they were trying to sneak aboard, and Nazi agent was supposed to help clear them once they got to the port. But Human Torch and Toro figured it out, put an end to that ridiculousness. Captain America versus the Shadow of the Monster. So in this one, Captain America and Bucky catch the Captain America impersonator going around committing crimes to besmirch his good name while wearing bulletproof armor. In all fairness, bulletproof armor isn't a bad idea, and perhaps Captain America should adopt that into his own suit, since it was light enough to be worn. Captain America, the mystery of the puff adder skulls. Now, puff adders are snakes. I didn't realize that. I did not know. So it sounds a little more deadly when you hear about the puff adder skulls. They're very deadly. Captain America and Bucky take down the man. So Captain America and Bucky take down the man using puff adder skulls that release a vapor used for mind control. Great. So that's it. That's Captain America number 46. You have 3 Captain America stories, a Human Torch story. Then we're moving on to Captain Marvel Adventures number 45. Billy Batson and Captain Marvel right on the cover there, looking at each other. It's great. So now this issue is 36 pages, and that would be down from 52 pages previously. And so now we have 3 Captain Marvel stories as opposed to 4 that we had before, right? So on with the stories. So there's the title page for the first story, Captain Marvel and the Blood Bank Robbers. So Captain Marvel stops some thieves from stealing rare blood from a blood bank in order to sell it to a sick millionaire. So they were trying to figure out that this sick millionaire needed rare blood, and that this kid had donated his own blood, which was the same type and rare, to the blood bank. So they're trying to steal it. And when the first attempt didn't work out, they kidnapped the kid that was providing the blood, the golden goose, I guess. Captain America gets mothered. So Captain Marvel gets mothered. Captain Marvel is up against his biggest challenge yet, with a smothering mother who tries to impose manners on everyone and clean up with her fancy soaps. It's a good time. And in the last story of the issue, you have Captain Marvel seems to have defeated Mr. Mind once and for all after smashing his undersea lair and defeating his undersea monster brigade. However, this is chapter 24 of 25 of the serial. So I don't think that is the last we'll see of Mr. Mind. But there's only one more chapter. We'll have to tune in to the next issue and find out how it all ends. Captain Marvel Jr. number 29. I rather like this cover. Like Captain Marvel's on fire. I have to say the art on the Captain Marvel Jr. Captain Marvel Jr. 29. Captain Marvel Jr. covers. I like the art. It's a little more depth to them, a little more detail. I find that they're well done. I mean, look, some of them are kind of silly, like the last issue was kind of silly with those upside down goofballs, which I'm sure wasn't to everyone's cup of tea, but this less silly cover looks like it's good action cover. I like it very much. So there are 3 Captain Marvel Jr. stories in this issue. First up is Captain Marvel Jr. in The Real or False Face. Captain Marvel Jr. stops the team up of Mr. Macabre and False Face from stealing secret weapon plans to turn over to the Japanese. Captain Marvel Jr. blazes a wilderness trail, and Captain Marvel Jr. heads to Canada and helps a contractor to build a road despite the sabotage attempts by some local trappers. And he's actually, he lit himself on fire later on in the story to scare the elk from stampeding across the newly paved road, because they would have just trampled and destroyed the roads. So newly paved needed some time to set. Captain Marvel Jr. goes to Never Never Land. Captain Marvel Jr. is taken to Never Never Land with Dr. Savannah as part of a scheme to bring them Earth slaves in exchange for some Green Army people to conquer Earth. The actor, Dr. Savannah, did not come back at the end of this story. However, I expect this is not the last we've seen of him. How could it be? Interesting page from this book had an ad about, let's see, here we go, Mary Marvel's Spring Fashion Parade. So if you're interested in the Mary Marvel's new spring fashion parade of new things to wear, you can get the Mary Marvel handbag, which has like nice little lightning bolt on it, which is really cool. Seemed like it would have been a lot of fun to have for the time, to go with that little with the beanie. I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. They had those things back then. I don't know, maybe I'm nostalgic, maybe I'm missing reading about Miss America and Miss America magazine, because of all their fashions and gossip columns and all that fun stuff. And moving on, Detective Comics number 98. Looks like Robin's having a bit of a tough time on the cover there. Batman and Robin go undercover in a hobo paradise and discover it was set up by a banker looking to escape his hectic life and take care of the hobos. All they want to do is give back and take care of the hobos. And some people tried to swindle him, of course, and tried to wreck it, and just tried to help the hobos out, just trying to be a nice guy. The story was the King of the Hobos. He's creating some paradise jungles. He created one, see how it worked, and he was planning on creating a lot more across the US to help all the other hobos. Flash Comics number 64. Now this is an interesting cover because you have Winky, Blinky, and Naughty right on the cover there working as firemen. But what's interesting is just that the way they're drawn, I don't think they've ever been depicted quite with that style, quite in that style before. So here's there's the Flash and the Fire Bandits. So the Flash races against the firebug that starts fires, and then his dual personality also puts them out with an invention. And some thieves take advantage of the chaos caused by the fires. And Winky, Blinky, and Naughty become firemen during this whole thing. Just, why not? Johnny Thunder lends his Thunderbolt to Peachy Pet, and it ends up being a comic retelling of Cinderella, loosely based on Cinderella, but you can see a lot of the same elements and the Thunderbolt is the fairy godmother. Hawkman, the man with the magic monocles. So Hawkman takes down the monocle, who is taking murderous revenge on some bankers who cheated him out of a property he owned by using special lenses that can direct energy rays. This guy was just minding his own business, and some bankers wanted to make some extra cash and foreclosed on his property and said, oh, you don't have the receipts for the mortgage payments that you made. We're going to have to foreclose. But the bankers had someone steal the receipts. So, of course, he couldn't find them. This guy got upset, had an invention with these lenses that can direct energy rays and cause havoc and destruction. Anyway, so this would be the first appearance of the monocle. So fun stuff and all. He's a character that'll come back a good few times as Hawkman's villain, I believe. There you go. You have the monocle. Next up, Marvel Mystery Comics number 63, Alex Schomburg cover. Also, if you look carefully at the bottom there, it's a Hitler cover as well. You got Goring and Goebbels as well, but I mean they're sort of caricatures of these guys, but you can tell what they are, and they're wearing tags on them. Hitler's got his name right on his satchel there. My wife likes to call that kind of thing a man purse. I like to call it a satchel. I'll leave it up to you to decide. And yeah, sir, Alex Schomburg covers. So you got the flame guys blasting through something. Very typical move by Alex Schomburg, but hey, I'm not against it. And this is actually probably one of the nicer Alex Schomburg covers I've seen in a while. Nicer in terms of I like the composition. I like what's going on. Although the Captain America comics one was okay too. Okay, so when we look inside, we see Human Torch, Killers Incorporated. Human Torch and Toro intervene to stop a plot where a steel mill owner is trying to sabotage his competitor. Then we have Submariner and the Vanishing Killers, right? So these guys, Submariner investigates after 5 jailbreaks take place and discovers the wardens were all killed with it and impersonated, having impersonators take their place, and they gave the prisoners skeleton keys so they could escape. Quite the plot indeed, far-reaching. Miss America, the Black Flag of Doom. So Miss America solves the mystery of a Japanese spy dressed as Blackbeard the pirate attacking with a specially painted plane. So this specially painted plane couldn't be seen because of, I'm going to assume they used some sort of matte type paint that couldn't be seen at night. That was the whole thing. So she's just flying around. What's going on? Bang, hits the plane because, of course, couldn't see it. It was dark. The plane didn't have its lights on. And it's painted black. But she sorted it out. Some guy impersonating Blackbeard, Japanese spy in the end. Why not? A little convoluted, but why not? I mean, it's not the worst Golden Age story I've read so far in terms of craziness. The Patriot versus the Master of Death. Patriot tracks down a cult leader that is using his followers to burn down certain buildings he has been paid to destroy in an insurance scam. So it's like, yeah, let's fire, let it burn, you know, and cleanse this building and the people and all that stuff. And all it was an insurance scam. And then the Angel, the horror of the Catwoman. Now, when you're looking at this splash page, who do you see on that cover that might look familiar? Right. And she's named Catwoman. Now, I mean, I'd have to look back. I don't believe the Catwoman in the Batman stories has acquired this look yet. I believe she's still usually wearing sort of like fancier outfits and dresses, but she does disguise herself, but she doesn't have the typical cat burglar outfit that we see in the more modern comics and that we'll see later on. So I don't know what came first, chicken or the egg here. So clearly Catwoman was a character in the Batman stories, and but I don't think she had quite this look to her. So someone have to correct me from Anthony. I'll put you up to this. You can tell me if I'm wrong about this. Is this the first time we see Catwoman in this outfit? And just to give you a heads up, at the end, this Catwoman kills herself because she doesn't want to go to jail. So she won't be coming back, I assume. expect to be very difficult. So this is very much a one-off character. So it's not like, Marvel decided, hey, we're going to create this character and have a recurring. No, it's a one-off character. But is it a ripoff? Is the outfit a ripoff? Because I'll tell you, like the fact that she's Catwoman, I don't know. You see it all the time in the comic. I couldn't tell you how many early 40s villains were called the Vulture or Vulture or whatever, and different spellings and all that stuff. It was insane. I think there were like 3 in one 10-issue episode that I did a while back. So who knows? So the synopsis. All right. So the Angel tracks down a jewel thief, the Catwoman, who dies at the end. Right. There you go. So now you know. After that, Master Comics number 60. It's another nice Captain Marvel Jr. cover. But in the first story, it is not about Captain Marvel Jr. It's about Radar. Man after my own heart. Love it. Radar, the international policeman, rocket bombs over Panama. So in this story, Radar puts an end to a supposed civil war in Panama to protect the canal, which was really some Nazi spies fooling a scientist into bombing the canal when he thought the rockets would go to the moon. So scientist, was equipped with all his fancy doodads and gadgets and stuff, and he had these buzz bombs. These like these planes with like the rockets on them that were destructive. This scientist had this whole contraption that he had set up, and he was trying to send these things off to the moon, but it turns out that it was actually, these were much more short range flying vehicles, and they were aimed right at the Panama Canal to try to disrupt the shipping lanes that are being used by the Allies. Next up, Captain Marvel Jr. and the Racket in Wax. Captain Marvel Jr. figures out the scheme by a restaurant owner to blackmail his patrons by using hidden microphones to pick up conversations. Very clever indeed. Very clever indeed. National Comics number 47. I don't know why. I kind of like this cover. Just you have the suits of the four different suits from typical playing cards. It's not even like anything on this cover really stands out. I just like the fact that they use the playing cards from the suits from the playing cards. I don't know. I like it. It seems it seems a little unique to me. I haven't seen a cover like this before. So why not? But it doesn't have any of the characters on it that I was reading about, because I was reading about Quicksilver. Quicksilver is the target of a thug out for revenge after being released from an asylum for the criminally insane. Yeah, so this guy got put away, faked being insane so that he could avoid the electric chair. He did, came back, started taking out people that had put him away or that were involved in his being sent away. And of course, Quicksilver was one of these characters, and he put a stop to it right quick, because it's Quicksilver. All right. So here's a roundup of the 10 issues we're just discussing that I've been reading for this episode. You've got, all right, what do you want to do? You want to just swear we got 3 timely books. You can, fairly easy to pick out with the red trade dress, although Detective also has the red trade dress. You have 2 Batman covers, right? So 3 DC comics. You've got 3 Fawcett comics and 1 quality comic, right? So 3, 3, 3, and 1. The outlier is the quality comics, National Comics number 47. So try to take a guess. Take your best educated guess as to which one of these 10 issues might be the most valuable according to the market currently. Now, without spoiling it, while you're looking at these covers and trying to figure out and you make your guesses, I do want to tell you that there is a clear winner this week. It's not even, I'll tell you, it's not even close. All right, ready? Here we go. Hacha. Here you go. There's the prices for all the most recent sales, most recent recorded CGC sales for these books. And I told you that one of these books was a clear winner. It's that Captain America comics number 46. There's a 9.2 from June of 2021 for $162,000. Since I've been doing this podcast, this is the most valuable issue that I've presented so far. Look, if we're going back to Action Comics 1, Detective Comics 27, all those ones, fine. Those are more expensive. But since I've been doing this podcast, since I've been looking at the most recent market values, this is by far the highest sale for any one book that I've been looking at. And I know that sometimes I'm looking at lower grades and whatever, but that is an insane number. And of course, this is from the Promise collection. Not surprisingly, when you see sales from June 2021 and these numbers, I mean, that kid that was collecting for the Promise collection was really picking up a lot of timely books at the time. It looks like, I mean, I don't know, certainly the ones that came up. I'd love to see what's going to come up for sale next for these books, but in the first series, there were a lot of timely books. What surprises me, though, is that book is not even the highest graded book for that issue. There's a 9.4 out there. I mean, it's old. That last sale for that was like 2003. So it was a long time ago, no question. But this is 9.2 for $162,000. I get that it's an Alex Schomburg cover. What I don't get is why this, if someone could explain to me why this particular issue attracted so much money versus, let's compare it to All Select Comics number 7, is a 9.4 that is also from the Promise collection for $27,600. I mean, you've got more featured characters on the cover. You've got it's a higher grade. I'd have to check. It's likely the single highest grade for the book, but so higher grade. If it's the highest grade in that book, I would expect it would command more dollars, but it didn't. And maybe the All Select one, because it came up under the hammer sooner than the Captain America comics, just because they were doing them alphabetical order. And people were like, whoa, these things are selling for a lot. I better get my hands on one. I don't know what commanded that money. I mean, and then the Marvel Mystery Comics number 3 also had a sale from June 2021 for $4,800. That's also a huge number for a 3.0 to sell. Now that clearly wasn't the Promise collection. The Promise collection, all of these comics are all quite high grades. $162,000 blows me away. Now let's just look in comparison. We have Master Comics. That issue, a 1.0, sold for $10 in December of 2019. That is just crazy. So you compare. I mean, look, I don't plan these things, and that is the most recent sale I could find for that book. You've got quite the contrast between $162,000 versus $10. That is crazy. I don't like I said, I don't plan it. I've never seen a CGC sale for a book that was that low. $10. That was, somebody like stole that one for sure. If I could get a CGC graded book, I mean, look, it's a 1.0. I get that, but I mean, it costs more to get it graded than that. Crazy. And the Batman one, I mean, $2,000 for a 9.0 is nothing to sneeze at. And you do have a Joker story in there, at least. But there's nothing in the Captain America book that I could see that really would command that kind of money. Like it just, I get it. There's Nazis on the cover. Okay, fine. If is that what's, that's just a huge amount for a Nazi cover. Anyway, that National Comics number 47 doesn't seem to have a lot of movement. There's only 5 on the census, and then the last sale I could find from September 2013. So that book doesn't seem to come up for auction all that often, I guess. Come up for sale. Detective Comics, February 2021, $280, low grade, 2.5. Hey, so look, those are your books. Captain America Comics, number 46, clearly the winner. You cannot beat that sale. That is an insane number. Anyway, so that's the books for the week. That's another 10 books. We're still working our way through April of 1945. And then next episode, we'll keep working our way through that, through this month. Now, this was a little bit of a lighter month in terms of how they show up on my spreadsheet. But yeah, some interesting things there. I mean, you have the first appearance of the Monocle from Hawkman, in the Hawkman stories from Flash, in the Hawkman story from Flash Comics number 64. So that's really the first appearance of any kind of villain or any kind of character this week that will be recurring. And a huge sale. A couple of Promise Collection books showed up. Yeah. Anyway, thanks very much for tuning in. I'm going to keep my rant at the end here short. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Man, Anthony, I have a mission for you to tell me why that Captain America Comics number 46 commanded such a high price at that auction. It boggles my mind. Anyway, thank you very much. Take care.